In the off-season of ESL, we've had the WardiTV Mondays, we've had the Tenacious Turtle Tussles, we've had the Orsasaurus Cups, as well as the KSRC, the Colaris Rotterdam Steadfast Cup as well. We actually have more open cups than we did during the on-season, which is crazy. Because we also have STC, which was always around, to be fair. But we lost 3 open cups and we replaced them with 4. Somehow that happened. All the open cups. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Gaming Gladiators. It is SHIN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Danish Protoss, the Blue Protoss player representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's time to get your gambler going. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe will be this week's champion. Will it be MaxPax or SHIN, Zerg or Protoss? SHIN, he's already done amazingly defeating Clem, the best player in the world, the favorite player to win it all. Clem was denied. Clem was denied by this Zerg player here, but now we're in a different matchup. Now we have a different beast waiting for him. The Max, that is the Pax. Oh boy, here we go. For now, Hatch Gas full, standard opener out of SHIN. Likewise, MaxPax going for the Get Expand. I'll be honest, I actually haven't casted much of MaxPax's PvZ recently. The most recent matches I can think of, I remember MaxPax, he went down to Solar a couple of weeks ago. We casted that during the WardiTV Monday. Same can be said for his series against SHIN. But I think a reason why we haven't casted, at least on this channel, much of MaxPax's PvZ is because we actually don't get that much Zerg representation in the Americas Opens. I'm referring to the Orsasaurus Cup, the Stego Monday Cup as well. These are tournaments that MaxPax has played in, but yeah, it's usually more Terran and Protoss dominated. Again, SHIN and Dark, they aren't as active in those events, so I'm happy and I'm excited. I'm excited to see these two face off here and now. I'm ready for it. We've seen plenty of MaxPax against Terran. That is true. We've seen a lot of MaxPax versus Bjorn, MaxPax versus Clem, of course. We've seen a lot of that, I should say. But here we go. But now SHIN is just going to be joining up. Likewise, Stargate gets placed across the map. It's going to be a Stargate open out of MaxPax. Everything looking normal so far, everything looking standard. We have seen MaxPax spice things up with a Stargate opener into Twilight Clans with the Glaive Adepts. MaxPax, he has embraced that from time to time. But again, it's been a couple of weeks, so I'm curious if MaxPax's PvZ has adjusted or has changed in those weeks. As Lings, they move out across the map, the wall is open. Adept does shade back, SHIN distracting the Adept with 4 Lings, 2 of them do bust into the middle line, and can SHIN pick off a probe? Oh, so far MaxPax pulling away, good control. Yeah, saves all the workers, shuts down the Lings, very nice worker micro here out of MaxPax, does defend, and he holds. Better trade for MaxPax. Stalker is zoning away the Overlord. Because SHIN opted to go for the mineral line, he actually did not scout the tech, so SHIN is in the dark as to what's going on. SHIN doesn't know. As he does head towards the mineral line, doesn't quite get a drone. SHIN does defend. Lings, they try to hit the Adept and the Stalker. Adept is going to go down, not a bad pickup. Adept falls, Stalker is under fire, but the Oracle does reveal itself. And that is still a bit of a win for SHIN. SHIN at least confirms the Stargate, confirms the Oracles, and even wastes the energy of the first Oracle as well. So the energy is spent. SHIN behind this, throwing down the Spore Crawlers. Spores in each mineral line, Spore in the main, Spore in the natural, or the unnatural natural. And we'll see if SHIN can keep up against the Oracles. Third Spore is on the way. For a long time, a lot of the Korean Zerg, I say Korean Zergs, a lot of the top Zerg players, they were of the mindset that a third Spore is a little bit too much, and it's just too much inadvertent damage. But Protoss players have gotten so good at getting damage with the Oracles that it's just worth it to get the third Spore. Ooh, as we get 4 drone kills, Queen's out of position. Good damage here by MaxPax. At the same time, Lings, they hit the third base, but there's an Oracle to defend back at home. MaxPax, he defends, he attacks. 4 drones so far. Good damage. Good damage dealt here by MaxPax. Hasn't lost anything yet. No Oracles. And behind this is going for a Forge and a Twilight Council. Looks like +1 and Blade. Plus one Stalkers from MaxPax. Establishing his third. Likewise, SHIN is skipping the Roach Warren. We're at the 5-minute mark, no Roach Warren yet. Looks like SHIN is going Ling Hydra, which can lead into Lurker play as well. If MaxPax was more aggressive, he could punish this, but again, he's going for a standard follow-up. Adepts are moving in. Only 4. Lings are keeping up. MaxPax doesn't commit. Has to pull away. There is a gateway explosion behind this, getting up to 6 gates. 6-gate blink. Adepts clearing up more of these tumors. They will shade towards the natural. They're getting into the mineral line. Drones are going to be going down. Yeah, SHIN not quite in position. 4 drone kills. 5. Oh my god. 6 drones go down. Brutal losses. That is well worth it for MaxPax. Does lose map control. SHIN going for a counterattack, but the Oracles, they're back at him to defend. MaxPax, he should be fine. At most, SHIN, he can force the activation of the Pulsar Beam, which he does. Then he retreats. SHIN, he has to back off. See, MaxPax, he has confirmed the army he's up against, and instead of going into Colossus, it looks like we have the setup for Storm. Temple Archives, Archon, Storm on the way. I mean, you could go for one or the other. It's going to be Storm for MaxPax. And SHIN is still waiting for his lair to finish to embrace Hydra production. Just Lings for now. SHIN going for a counterattack. MaxPax pushing right down mid. Storm has begun. But the third base is looking quite exposed. Lings, they get a surround. Yeah, Blink isn't done. Stalkers, they get shut down. And MaxPax will be turned around for a moment. There's the overcharge. Buying time. MaxPax defends. Pushing onto Grief. Base trap, it looks like it will connect. Not bad, but Lings, they come in from behind. Here come the Oracles, though. And SHIN, he can't engage. Again, this is the power of the triple Oracle opener. It isn't just about harassing early on. It isn't just about scouting, but also protecting those Stalkers by any kind of Link surrounds. So MaxPax, he does protect his army. Carries them back home. Lings, they try to engage. They catch out one Stalker. Just one. But at least SHIN, he buys some time. He gets some breathing room. Getting a 4th base and joining up. SHIN embracing Lingbane Hydra. And Lingbane Hydra is much more efficient against Stalkers, which is why MaxPax, he backed off. He retreated. And he's getting into Storm and Archons. And Zealots as well. Charge the Archon Storm. Fares far better here against the more fragile army of SHIN. SHIN's still trying to gain some value with these Lings, but alas, MaxPax is all over this. Storm is done at this point. SHIN has to back up. Does scout, does confirm. And we'll see if SHIN can survive this eventual move out. I mean, Storm is going to be brutal. Without Lurkers, it's going to be a tough hold for SHIN. He has to rely on his Banelings, on a surround. MaxPax pushing forward. SHIN does come across the Zealots. Station traps being set up. There's 5 High Templar, 5 Storms at least. SHIN turns back around. Stasis goes off. War Prism into the main, but SHIN, he is ready for this. Does split up his army. Does keep up. And MaxPax backs off. Does retreat. Again, he was vulnerable to a Link surround. He knew there were Links somewhere on the map. Didn't want to risk it. And MaxPax does establish his 4th base. SHIN, likewise, almost maxing out himself. No Infestation Pits, no Hive Tech. SHIN instead maxing out on Lingbane Hydra, on Lair Tech instead. There we go, Infestation Pit just out of the way. Bailey's rolling in. They force out some Storms. Storms get thrown down. No major connections from SHIN. And he has to pull away. Getting caught out. SHIN attempting to come in for a surround, but the storms are brutal. Oh my god. Yeah, storms, they annihilate the Lingbane. SHIN, he plummets in supply. And remember, there are no lurkers behind this. It's just purely Lingbane Hydra. And MaxPax, he can keep pushing. Say that SHIN amassing on more Ling Hydra. Going for a Bailing run by. Headed for the middle line. MaxPax does respond. Does pull away. Lurker dams out in production. Now, the problem here for SHIN is that this tech is more delayed. SHIN, he focused more on maxing out and attacking, less so on teching. So lurkers are a ways off. SHIN does catch an Archon. But again, here comes the main army, and SHIN, he is vulnerable. Only 3 High Templar. Not too many storms. They'll run right towards the natural. Zealous towards the south. Can SHIN keep up? Bailey's saying to crash in. Yeah, that was the final storm. Wasn't enough though. SHIN, it looks like he should be able to force this back for the time being, but nah, here we go. The stasis pops off. Archons are pushing forward. And MaxPax, he's looking to snowball out of control. SHIN, he just cannot keep up. Zealous busts into the natural. GG gets called, and MaxPax takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, SHIN, he was stuck on Lingbane Hydra for so long. He was hoping for a surround. He was hoping for a better fight in the center of the map. He didn't get it, and he was pretty, I don't want to say all in, but he was just very committed. He was very committed with that kind of style. When he didn't get the fight he wanted, he just fell behind. Just fell behind, couldn't keep up with the efficiency of that storm-based army. GG. GG, well played. MaxPax takes the first game, and now we're getting into game number 2. Now again, I don't blame SHIN for going for more active style here, especially on Ghost River, but now we're loading into Oceanborn, a bit of a larger map. I would expect to see some different play here. Here we go. So we are getting ready for Oceanborn. A map more known for roach-based all-ins, just because of how exposed the third is. The third is very exposed here on this map. So my eyes are going to be on SHIN this time, to see if he goes for an earlier Roach Warren and if he takes earlier gases. We'll see. We shall see. I need to ferment the juice and store it away for several years for the delicious CranKy wine. Oh no. Not like this. Drink responsibly. The CranKy wine, it's powerful. It makes you smudge. Aye, aye, aye. Here we go. Jumping into game 2. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaiman Gladiators. It is SHIN. Down in the series, we're going to bounce back and tie up the series, make a series out of this. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Psystorm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MaxPax. Want to amass one more is all MaxPax needs to force match point. As SHIN is opening up 15-15, so 15 hatch opener out of SHIN. Never mind. He did go for the extractor trick, but where are we going? Oh my god. Okay, SHIN trying to be a little bit cheeky. The probe goes up the ramp, and as it goes up, SHIN, he can expand. Cheeky moves out of SHIN. He will be able to take the natural. We'll have a much more comfortable start here in game 2. Now, the downside is that this base is far later. It's a late expansion, so in that sense, it's a little bit more inefficient, but it's on location, so there's a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, it's later. On the other hand, you're not spread thin early on. So SHIN is willing to take a bit of an economic blow here in favor of just being safer. Let's take the natural. Probe gets trapped for a moment, takes some extra hits. SHIN, he wants it. Wants the probe. And from here, we can settle down, we can drone up, we can calm down as well. Gate expand from MaxPax into Cybercore into most likely Stargate. If it's anything but, we will pointed out. We'll scream. He's crazy. Twilight Council. There's a pylon. It screams Stargate. Usually if it's a Twilight Council or a robo opener, the pylon will be placed a little bit further back to hide it. Because it's placed out in the open, closer to the edge, it's more efficient for a Stargate instead. As SHIN is just droning up. Getting up to 2 bases. And there's a Stargate for MaxPax. So once again, I imagine Oracle-based opener. No reason for MaxPax to really switch it up. Really, my eyes are going to be on SHIN this game. I mentioned before that the third base is a little more exposed on Oceanborn. This is why we've seen many a Queen Walk or a German Taxi or some kind of Roach-based all-in on this map, at least historically. At the same time, because it's so common, Protoss players have been getting better and better at defending against that and surviving those kind of all-ins. So I don't know if it's the wisest of choice to embrace that here on Oceanborn. Considering how good MaxPax is, I'm sure he's going to be... that's going to be in the back of his mind. Be keeping an eye out for the Roach-Warren timing. Let's see, that does waddle in. MaxPax keeping up. Sorry, SHIN keeping up. Behind this, SHIN is actually making 12 extra lings. Interesting. With this SHIN, he can try to shut down the Adepts and also counterattack and hit the third. Is possible. Yeah, lings are moving out. And we'll see if SHIN can get on top of this. Again, he's hoping for the Stalker, the base itself. Ooh, Overlord does go down. SHIN will get the Stalker, but at what cost? So many lings! Oh my god. The Oracle goes ham. That's what, 10 lings going down? 11. And was it worth it for SHIN? I don't think it was. I mean, he was hoping to save the Overlord, but wasn't able to. Overlord still did fall. Also, I do apologize. You can see in the game there are some frame drops here. I will try to get on that in the next game. Do apologize. Just the connection to US, where are we? US West is a little bit unstable. Feels US West, man. Meanwhile, behind this, SHIN just embracing his Overlords, droning up. MaxPax going for the same follow-up, going for a Forge and a Twilight Council, getting into +1 and Blink. Just like the previous game. Similarly, SHIN going into +1 melee. This time going for a safety Roach-Warren. Interesting. If you recall, last game just went purely Ling into Banelings into Hydras. This time has the potential to embrace Roaches as well. Adepts, they do threaten the shade. Lings, they get a nice surround. One Adept does fall. 2 Adepts even. But it only takes 2 to one-shot a drone. And that is going to be 6 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. 7 drone kills. Nice damage by MaxPax. 7 workers do go down. MaxPax pulling back home. Content with his damage. And again, embracing Blink and +1. Lings, they threaten a run by. Going for the third. Once again, Oracle's in position. Lings, they do nothing. MaxPax defends. Doesn't quite find any more damage though. SHIN holding on, redroning, resaturating. Basically, after this game, I'm going to be turning my VPN off to hopefully clear things up. But it'll have to be after this game, so I do apologize. And hopefully they give us the time to work with our VPN as well. I know that our players are quite quick to get into the lobby, so I'll try to be quick, try to be fast. And I was curious as to what SHIN was going to be embracing. I mean, the Roach-Warren was already a bit of a sign of things to come, and we can see clearly, of course, no Hydras, the Spire. Bold move by SHIN. He's trying to sneak into that Spire. Oracles, they bust into the main. Queens are in position. Queens, they deny the scouts. Oracle goes down. MaxPax is in the dark. He has not scouted the Spire. He's unaware of the Mutas. The Muta switch is on the horizon. Shin moving out. Again, the goal here for Shin is just to keep MaxPax's attention on the Lings, on the army, back at home, not scouting. Shin is banking out more gas, more minerals. Spire is almost done. Overlords are finishing up. Lings, they hit the third. They at least try to. The fourth even. And how many mutas? Soon to have 1,000 gas. So we go 9 mutas on the way. Lings, they rotate around. $11 mutas even. Let's go. And 11 mutas, that is more than enough to, of course, one-shot probes. They get into mineral lines, and MaxPax, he's not ready. There's nothing in the main, nothing in the natural, nothing at the third. Oh, there's a shield battery at the third at least. And MaxPax will have Storm. Honestly, this is the same build. The same setup, the same build from MaxPax 2 games in a row. Blink into Storm Charge +2. And in a head-on fight, I do favor MaxPax here. We'll see if he can punish Shin, as Shin is moving out with those mutas. Does head towards the natural. MaxPax pushing in. Mutas, they reveal themselves. Going for the initial shield battery. The cannon even. A couple of workers are going down. MaxPax, he turns around. He does recall back home. And plenty of Stalkers. Stalkers in the main. And the Mutas, they get 4 probe kills so far. I mean, that's okay damage. More importantly, they drag the army back home. They keep MaxPax pinned back at home, as Shin, speaking of, is taking up, going for the Hydrogen into Lurkers, into Hive. Shin is trying to transition into Lurker tech. We'll see if he can, though. See if he can. Mutas coming back in. Stalkers are in position. But again, MaxPax is pinned back at home. So what I appreciate here is that Shin, he's actually not investing any further into these mutas. MaxPax doesn't know this. So Shin is buying so much time. Oh god! Does take some storms to the face. Oh, not quite worth it there. Gets, I think, 1 High Templar. No, not even. High Templar do survive. Mutas pull away. Again, rotating around. Still only 6 mutas left for Shin. Only 6 mutas, but here come the Lunkers. Now, bearing in mind, these are lair tech Lurkers, so they're not really too impactful, but they can help survive and defend against a push. Lurkers are morphing in. And meanwhile, MaxPax looks like he's aware that, I mean, the game is going to progress a little bit longer. Sky Toss. More Stargates are on the way. Fleet Beacon as well. Phoenix production has begun. And MaxPax, he can start working on Carriers and Tempest. Are set up. Shin, he can hold. At the same time, Ling run by, hits the 4th or hits the 5th. Denies the expansion. Not bad. Ling's gonna have a bit of a harder time trading against the Zealots, but they do come out on top. The Mutas are still active, finding more damage. Getting another 4 probes. And MaxPax, he's had enough. He's pushing through. Lurker's not quite in position. A bit late to siege, late to burrow. Shin trying to keep up. Ooh, takes the storm to the face. Oh my god, another big storm of the Hydras. Shin does rotate, does respond. The base is exposed. Shin coming in from behind, takes another storm. Oh, and there's like 4 more storms left. Oh my god, so many storms. Shin having a hard time engaging. Another storm on the army. MaxPax going for the base itself. Hatchery is going to go down. There's no saving it. MaxPax, he gets the base, gets 7 more drones. But Shin, he survives. Like MaxPax, he cannot push into all these Lurkers. And we're going for the Nidus into the main, but the Tempests are here. The Tempests, they reveal themselves to the Nidus Worm. They shut it down. Well, Shin, he wants to try to catch out the army. Lurker range is done. MaxPax, he does get away. Brutal storms on the Lings. Templar get caught out. Some of them do. Force them morph into Archons. Shin pulling away. Moving out with the Lurker counterattack. Trying to hold on, still sticking with Hydra Lurker. Some of the main waste is denied. Decent positioning. Zealous is still trading well. Gonna take down the Hydras, take down the Queens. At the same time, Lurkers, they do push in, but last there is a recall. MaxPax defends his base, pushing on forward. The Tempest count isn't looking too high here. I want to say 4. No, 6. 6 Tempest. Lurkers, they get caught out. Brutal losses for Shin. So many Lurkers go down. He's got 9 left. The Lurkers, they're holding their own. Decent Hydra count as well. Meanwhile, Nidus across the map. This one does finish. Shinny busts into the main. No detection. Yeah, Zealots are being cleaned up. Hydras, they funnel in as well. At the same time, MaxPax hits the left-hand side. 14 drones go down. Yeah, Shin's economy does take a big blow. But Lurkers, they keep filing in. And Shinny wants the production. He wants the Stargates. And he will depower at least some of them. Oof. Lurkers getting focused down. And Tempest going ham. The main base will fall. Again, can Shin take down those Stargates? Doesn't quite get the Tempest. That's 19 probe kills. And 1 Stargate goes down. Lurkers being forced back. Shin reinforcing up. Does he get one? He gets 1 Tempest. 1 Tempest goes down. And Shinny just keeps going. Doesn't want to let up. They're building up more Hydras. MaxPax leaves his Tempest idle. 2 more Tempests go down. Massive pickups. Again, Tempest, they're meant to be the answers to the Lurkers. There's only 3 Tempests left. MaxPax rebuilding his Stargates. Rebuilding his Fleet Beacon. Yeah, here at the 3rd, Mothership is on the way. And Shinny gets the hell out of here. Does evacuate. And we need a moment to take stock here. Oh, also, we're looking smooth again. Whatever was messing up our routing to the Americas, it's cleared up. Shin pushing forward, counterattacking on the right-hand side. MaxPax out of position. Shin, can he knock down this base? Not quite. Boys being pulled away. Shin going for the Nexus. MaxPax coming in from behind. But the slideshow has ended. Nexus goes down. Nexus does fall. Shin reinforcing with Corruptor. I mean, again, Shin, he has a lot more time to build up his Corruptor count because of the disrupted economy, or production, I should say. Oh, but the Mothership recall towards the left-hand side. The base is going to go down. Massive storms in the mineral line. And now it's Shin's turn to be caught out of position. Base goes down. Shin trying to respond. Oof. On the mineral line, the drones! Get out of here! Oh my god. Shin trying to come in from behind. Does engage. Oof. Massive storm on the Hydras. Most of the Hydras go down, but now we have Corruptor. GG gets called. There's just too much. Shin, he lost far too much of his economy, too much of his army, and MaxPax takes the 2-0 lead. GG. A very chaotic game set. I mean, Shin, he was popping off, he was sniping bases, he was getting into the main, but on top of that, he was also losing bases. He was losing his own mineral lines. He did not have the economy he needed to sustain himself. Ideally, he wanted MaxPax pinned back at home, but MaxPax was so quick to counterattack with Zealots, and as we saw, counterattack with the Mothership as well. GG, well played. Shin pulled apart. And with that, we're getting into Game 3. Hopefully everything's okay. But we're getting into Game 3. It's going to be on Dynasty. It's going to be on Dynasty. Oh, no. Let's go. Okay, alright, Shin. Prove me wrong. Let's go. Going to be loading into Dynasty here for game number 3. And I'm curious if SHIN is still on that Spine Rush kind of hype train, or if he's seen the light, and if he has a different kind of build. I mean, regardless, this is a little bit more of a Protoss favored map, just because of the goal base that can be quite difficult to punish. So I'm curious how SHIN will approach this. Typically, like, we very rarely see standard macro games in ZVP on Dynasty, or even ZVT as well. Usually it's an all-in. Usually it's an all-in of some kind, as it's a lot more difficult to really pull off more standard play on this map just because of the base layout, because of the expansions, because of the greater economy that a Terran or Zerg player can achieve on Dynasty as well. So there's a lot working against SHIN, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of build SHIN whips out. As here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Dynasty, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaiman Gladiators. Down in the series, can he bounce back? Can he take a game and make a series out of this? The pressure is on. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Sidestorm Gaming. Odamas. One more game is all he needs to take the series as he moves out to check on that gold and to, yeah, be maybe a little bit cheeky with his own probe. It is MaxPax. SHIN attempts to rush into the goal base, and MaxPax, he's here to deny it. So a good read out of MaxPax. He's in position, and SHIN is going to be delayed that natural base. Oh boy. Yeah, he's forced to take the regular expansion instead. Again, it is very common for Zerg players to rush into the gold on this side to take advantage of the high yield gas geyser, and that leads into roach all-ins. Alas, that won't be the case this time, as MaxPax is all over this, goes to the pylon block, and does force the natural expansion. We go. MaxPax does confirm, and MaxPax should be getting into the goal base himself. Now, the reason why we speak about how very often this map is vetoed by Zerg players is because of the gold itself. The reasoning for this is the Zerg player cannot take the goal base as a natural base, or even as a third base. The reason for this is because you can abuse the mineral line with range-based units, whether it's Marine, Hellion, Reaper, Adept, Stalker, any kind of range-based unit can abuse this. On the flip side of things, Zerg players can't do the same to Protoss, or Terran, or in general, which is often why we've seen Zerg players rush into Roaches to try to punish the gold in some way. We've seen a lot of Roach rushes or Ravager rushes as well in this matchup to try to apply some pressure. Otherwise, Lings and Banelings can't really do much about this. So the opposing player can freely mine from the goal base. So I'm expecting an earlier Roach Warren out of SHIN. SHIN, he kills the probe, does invest quite heavily into killing the worker, so I imagine that's for a good reason, or maybe SHIN is just trying to get into the mind of MaxPax. We'll see. Link speed is on the way. SHIN, he pulls out. Okay, he pulls out of gas. He's not rushing into an early lair. No early Roach Warren either. Likewise, no proxy hatch. Okay. SHIN going for the triangular third. So far, this looks like a standard game. This looks like a standard game out of SHIN, and in seeing this, that's where I'm concerned. Again, I mentioned before that usually we see all-ins. Like, it's very standard to see all-ins on this map from Zerg players just because, you know, in a longer standard game, they're at a disadvantage. And it feels like that's what SHIN is embracing. A longer standard game. So far, at least. As MaxPax is getting his goal base up and running. It's going to be a Void Ray opener. Okay, MaxPax, he's mixing it up here. My eyes have mainly been on SHIN on Dynasty, but now they're diverted to MaxPax, opening a Void Ray, hunting down Overlords, keeping SHIN in the dark. Now, with a Void Ray opener like this, we could end up going into a faster Twilight Council, into Glaive Adepts, into a second Stargate, into Mass Void Ray, into Sky Toss, into like a fast Fleet Beacon, or into a third. We'll see what direction MaxPax takes us in. Regardless, SHIN is going to be a little bit blind to what's going on. As the Void Ray has arrived, it's going to be an Oracle follow-up into a third. It's just an economic opener. Meanwhile, at F, a shade across the map. 3 drones go down. Nice damage. 3 workers do fall. And so far, SHIN's still droning, has not pulled back into gas, throwing down his Spore Crawlers. There's the Twilight Council on the way. This is an earlier Twilight Council from MaxPax. I mentioned before on Ghost River, if you remember, I was talking about how we have seen MaxPax go Stargate into Glaive Adepts before. this looks like Glaive Adepts. And if SHIN does not throw down a Roach Warren, or if he doesn't set up defensively back at home, then I'm concerned for SHIN. There is no Forge. So this feels like Glaives. If we were casting Hero, I would say maybe like a 3-base Blink all in. But we'll see what MaxPax does embrace. Show us what you got. Safety Roach Warren. It is going to be Blink. Okay, you have my attention. MaxPax is rushing into earlier Blink instead. Now, this is actually a really solid defensive opener. The reason why I say this, if SHIN was going for a Roach all-in, if he was cutting workers early on and moving out with Roaches, by the time the all-in hits, Blink finishes. Blink does finish in time to defend. So, really early Blink here out of MaxPax. The downside here for MaxPax was Lings. They do get the surround. Yeah, Stalker does fall. Oracle's out of position. Probes are going down as well. MaxPax getting caught out. 2 Stalkers. Just 2 Stalkers and 1 probe. Nothing too major. What I was going to say is the downside here for MaxPax is the upgrade, or the Forge specifically. +1 is going to be a little bit later. It's going to be delayed for MaxPax, but he will have a lot of Stalkers to work with and earlier Blink. Now, the all-in that I mentioned that I would say if we were casting Hero, that's what I would expect, is if we don't take all of our gases here at the 3rd base, if we go up to 8 gates and maybe a proxy gate across the map, then MaxPax can just go for an 8-gate Blink all-in. But because we have a Forge and we have +1, I'm leaning away from that now. He is getting up to 7 gates, though. Oh my god. 7 gates set up here. No proxy yet out of MaxPax. But the probe is moving out, I believe, to set up a proxy. Okay, let's go. It is a 3-base all-in. The probe has arrived, so the goal here is to set up a proxy location in the center of the map. It's going to be 8 gates. It's going to be a 3-base 8-gate all-in. It's going to be a different variation because it will have +1, so there is a little bit more kind of longevity behind it. There's the pylon, soon to be a gateway. It's all or nothing for MaxPax. And SHIN, if he had drone too much, I mean, he'd be in trouble. Thankfully, he did not skip the Roach Warden. It's going to be Ling Roach to defend. Roaches are on the way. He desperately does need them to survive. The pylon is done. We do need the gateway. Yep, gateway's on the way. AK 3-base all in. Massive amount of Stalkers on the way here. And MaxPax, he's going for the kill. He's going for the throats. And can SHIN hold on? He's trying to stay strapped behind this. Ooh, the stasis is not baited out, so Lings are shut down. Roach is pulling expensive losses here for SHIN. Yeah, some brutal losses here. Roaches are falling. At the same time, though, SHIN, he does have the concave. Hydras are on the way. It's going to be Roach Hydra for SHIN. And again, SHIN is going for the goal behind this as well. At least trying to. I say that the Void Ray takes down the Queen. Is going for the expansion. Another Queen's on the way. The Roach buffer here has been cleaned up. No more, barely any Roaches. Hatchery goes down to the Void Ray. Brutal pickoff. And without those Roaches, the Hydras are exposed. Yeah, the Hydras are exposed. MaxPax, he just keeps warping in, keeps going. He's so close to breaking SHIN. If SHIN had the gold up and running, it would be a different story, but doesn't really have much economy behind this. Yeah, and it looks like it is too much. The Stalker count is just far too high here. Hydra's getting picked off. Roaches as well. And MaxPax, it looks like he has done it. He's broken the back of SHIN. I was hoping for a back and forth, hoping for a game 4 or a game 5. And I mean, hey, SHIN was popping off in game 2, especially on Oceanborn. He had his moments. But MaxPax, he's snowballing out of control, getting on top of the Hydras. Expensive losses here for SHIN. One Stalker does fall, but GG gets called again. The writing was on the wall, and MaxPax, he will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's WardiTV Monday champion. GG. GG, well played. It's been a while since I've seen that 3-base all-in that MaxPax just showed us. It used to be all the craze last year. You know, I'm talking like November, October, December of last year. We saw it a little bit at the start of the year as well, but did kind of fall out of fashion just because it was so played out. Players got so much better at defending against it. So it's really cool to see MaxPax just kind of bring it back a little bit here. Bringing back that 8 gates, 3-base all-in. which can punish Zerg players quite hard, especially if they're a little bit too greedy, or even on maps like Alkion as well, which that third base is so vulnerable, so exposed. I should have brought that up as well. That third base location from Shin, it's on the low ground. There are 2 choke points as well that MaxPax was making use of. He was quite easily kind of weaving between the 2 of them as well, denying any kind of surround, denying any kind of setup there from Shin. So really nicely executed by MaxPax. And yeah, I do think it's a really good build as well to whip out on a map like that as well. Considering that Shin wasn't going for any kind of all-in. Considering that Shin was trying to macro. On Dynasty, crazy. Was punished for it, Papi. Punished for it. GG, well played, MaxPax. He will be our champion this week. Congratulations. Again, without Clem facing off against MaxPax, I was favoring MaxPax here. Still hoping for back and forth series. And again, there was some good moments for Shin, definitely, but barely was unable to cause the upset again. Not this time. But I also don't want to take away from Shin, because remember, Shin, he took down Clem to make it to the finals, which was a crazy result. Clem was the heavy favorite to win the entire tournament, but Shin had other plans. And I'm sure MaxPax is very happy that Shin did it. I'm sure MaxPax even like sending Shin some DMs like, thank you so much. Like you stopped Clem. You stopped him, Papi. Thank you. So I'm sure he's elated to see that he didn't have to go up against his nemesis Clem in the finals. A much cleaner 3-0 here from MaxPax. Very nicely done. GG. GG, well played. Oh. Here we go. VPN off. Yeah, I got you. But yeah, with that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We do appreciate it as well. If you want some more StarCraft, if you are unsatiated, then we have you covered. Let me just quickly check for you. Oh, not quite us, but I believe the Kalaris Steadfast Wardi Cup is in an hour? No. 40 minutes. Oh my god, in 40 minutes time, there is another weekly tournament, but this one is more European centric. It is more centered around the European time zone, so you can tune in 40 minutes. We won't be casting it, but it is often casted by Steadfast, by Rotterdam, by Zombie Grub, and some other English casters as well. Technically, we could cast it, true, technically, if we wanted to, but it's quite late here. It's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. in the morning here in Australia. We're not quite in the time zone to actually cover many European events. It doesn't stop us from covering other European tournaments, like some of the Polish lands or some of these other events, but you know, some sleep would be nice. So alas, we do typically avoid the European weekly tournaments, I should say. Usually, every now and then we do dip in. But yeah, there's going to be plenty of other English coverage for you, with Zombie Grub, with Steadfast, with Rotterdam, with maybe Chicken Man and Dave Testa and all the other English casters. They got you covered. They got you covered. Otherwise, our next cast is going to be, I believe, in less than 24 hours. While we sleep, while we rest, while this event is taking place, by the time we wake up, what do we have? I mean, this tournament has had a bit of an identity crisis. You might be familiar with the Ursasaurus Cup. There were like 4 editions of that. That is no longer a thing. Then we had the Stego Monday Cup for like 2 weeks. That is no longer a thing. In how many hours time? In less than 12 hours, we're going to be live here on the channel with the Pigasaurus Cup. Now, why is it called the Pigasaurus Cup? Well, because it was the Stegosaurus, or the Stego Monday Cup, but Pig has stepped up to sponsor the event. So earlier I was talking about how all these community members like ourselves, the CranKy Ducklings, Steadfast, Rotterdam, Wardi, Chicken Man, Dave Testa, we all stepped up and we all started our own open cups and we all started our own tournaments during the off season. Well, now Pig was jealous. Pig was like, oh, I want to take part as well. And Pig, he is helping to sponsor the Stego Monday Cup. So now Pig is also getting involved as well. Who are we missing? No naming names, you know. I don't want to call anyone out, but you know, a lot of us, we've all stepped up, which was really cool. It's really cool that the community in general has kind of risen to the challenge here and has kind of filled the shoes of ESL during the off season. It is really inspiring to see that everyone is so willing to take part. So much love to everyone involved. And again, Pig is now going to be sponsoring the Pigosaurus Cup. And we're going to be casting that. We're going to be casting that in how many hours? It's not on TL. Hold on, I'll check the calendar. We're going to be covering that in 9 hours. In 9 hours time. So in 9 hours, hey, we got some time to sleep. In 9 hours time, we're going to be live with the Pigosaur Cup, Pigosaur Monday. That's going to be, again, in 9 hours. So we got you covered there. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Sleep is for the weak. Castle 4 and no life for 36 hours. Oh, no, not like this. I'm waiting for them to pick a name. Isn't it called the Pigosaur? Am I crazy? Have they not, like, settled on a name? Let me see. Yeah, Pigosaur Monday. Yeah. They got it. Oh. Wasn't this map 1? Map 1 was Ghost River. Ghost River. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it. And with that, we're going to be heading off. For the night. Again, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Also, if you want to help support the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so by following us on all the social medias. I also have to pay out the predictions as well. Let's not forget. But you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. We are live on all things CranKy Ducklings. We do also stream on YouTube at the same time. You can check out our VODs on YouTube. It's all available there on YouTube immediately under the live tab. So VODs are there. If you cannot watch live, we got you covered on YouTube. And you can also help support us on Patreon. Our Patreon is set up to fund our tournaments. I did just mention that, we've been running our own tournaments as well, and it is all funded via Patreon, specifically Sparkling Tuna Cup, Sea Duckling Open, and Master Swan Open as well. So if you want to help support those tournaments, if you want to help support StarCraft, you can do so via Patreon. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow or in 9 hours for the Pigo Monday, the Pigosaurus, the Pigosaur Cup, and I believe later on this week we have Code for Giants Cup, Tenacious Turtle Tussle, and the Pondcast as well. So with that, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Have a good night. Ciao. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.